and participation in this, you are acknowledging and your adherence to the disclaimers. So also like to be able to acknowledge here and recognize the fact that David from the Financial Dream Team, okay, Financial Freedom Dream Team, is here. David, thank you so much for being here, as well as Eunice, our one who has gained expertise on Dodo and will be presenting tomorrow on the WAAS back office as well as Dodo. He is just exponentially fantastic in doing that. So, Eunice, thank you so much for being here. Now, we're going to go ahead and get started. Please make sure that you have your questions ready, but let's go ahead and just warm up this great panel that we have here with a couple of lobby things. I'm going to just lobby a few questions to them. So the thing is that, honestly, yesterday was such an eye-opener as far as what happened with Boomerang, and then some things as far as the liquid pay. I took away from that quite a bit, besides taking probably a page or two of notes. Joe, what was your takeaway from the update yesterday with Chavez? What was your takeaway?
Hi, Grace. I thought it was a fantastic Zoom, actually, to see that journey from that first time. As I said last night, I can still remember that first day when Chavez called that leadership Zoom, and there was 40, 45 of us there, and he said he's got something really exciting to show us, and he had this look on his face like a child in a sweet shop, and we were all excited with him, even though we had no idea what we were excited about. We could just feel that something massive was going to happen. So to see that journey laid out last night, that 8-month journey, that 8-month roller coaster laid out like that, I think was not only interesting and educating, because it really sort of demonstrated that the roller coaster wasn't just for us. This was a roller coaster for Chavez, for his tech team, to constantly have to be overcoming challenges, to constantly be facing a roadblock here and then a roadblock there. Then you turn that corner and there's another roadblock. And then on top of that, to have the pressure of however many thousands of people there are in this community now wanting updates every day, waiting like greyhounds at the trap, waiting for the doors to open. So it was a really interesting Zoom. And I think, and I hope, brought closure for everybody. Boomerang has gone. Boomerang is dead. Long live Boomerang. But now we can move forward into a new era, into a new stage of product and of this entire ecosystem. So for me, it was just a really nice walk down memory lane, because although it didn't work and although it didn't happen, to understand that it wasn't just us that were facing the challenges, it was everybody in the back that was struggling and facing those challenges. So we all faced them together. It was a really fantastic Zoom, and hopefully brought closure to everybody and closes that part of our history.
Great. Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. I love those sentiments. I love as far as you bringing that together and putting that together. Now, Carl, I know that through some of that, you really understood some of those roadblocks and some of those you tried this and tried that, and it you just ran into dead ends. Could you go ahead and share your perspective as far as the real technical aspects of it, and what those algorithms, am I saying that right? What does those do?
I sat through that presentation by Chavez yesterday, and I was thinking, deja vu. In my IT history, I've had that situation. Sometimes you have a good idea and you just can't actually do it because of, as Joe said, those roadblocks, those bumps, those turns that you're forced to do. And it made me remember so many instances, but one particular, I had to move data from a mainframe system to a server-based system. And I had to find a compression program, and there is one for the mainframe, but it was prohibitively expensive. I'll write my own. I looked for a compiler in the languages that I had written in on the server, and it doesn't exist. And I'm thinking, how am I going to solve this problem? And sometimes you've just got to give up on the thoughts and do something different. We're still waiting to find out what that something different is from Chavez. Tomorrow we'll get that. But he had to just face the fact that what he wanted to do can't be done. And yeah, as Joe said, let's move on. Find out what tomorrow is going to bring.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. Thank you.
Just deja vu for me.
Now, you see, the thing that I really appreciate that as far as that, and you've thrown in a couple of terms there, compilers and all of those kind of programs. I remember Chavez saying at one time, hey, we tried everything, but there was nothing on the shelf that we could actually get off the shelf and use. So we had to build our own system. So now that has been developed. And I think that there might be somebody here that might have some insight, might want to share some tea with us, that may have some insights into what Boomerang 2.0 might be able to look at. I'm just wondering who that might be. I think his name starts with T and ends with T. and so the only person I'm looking at there that might fit that bill is Trashid. Trashid, what insights can you share with us as far as Boomerang 2.0? Well, how much tea can you share with us?
Well, Chavez is very talkative. He sometimes mentions things that he doesn't have to. But this time with Boomerang 2.0, he is extremely cautious. He's extremely careful. So believe me when I say this to you all, I am on the same page like you all. But what I can tell you, what I can suggest you is, like Chavez described Boomerang 2.0, expect the unexpected. And what we have seen so far in affiliate marketing 3.0, the brilliant products, the kind of products that we are delivering, I'm sure that Boomerang is not going to be less than that in terms of quality, in terms of UI, VI, and in all sense, Boomerang is going to be one of the key product that is again outshine affiliate marketing 3.0. So let's wait for tomorrow night, tomorrow evening, and it's going to be exceptional.
Really looking forward to it. And I'm really serious, guys. Really make sure that you have your notebook out. This is the time to grab your notebooks if you have jotted down some questions and things of that nature, so that we can go ahead and pick the brains of this brilliant panel. And Trashid, you mentioned the word or term UI. That's user interface, correct?
Yes.
And so when you're looking at that, what does that mean to me when you talk about user interface?
The way the platform has been laid out, like if you see our mining dApp, BTC20 mining dApp, everything seems to be so organized. Then the color, the visuals, it all so premium and they look so aesthetic. If you see Dodo, the color combinations, the way the indexes have been laid out, the top indices, then the login and everything, if you see. So the creative team and the technical team, both the teams with Chavez have been brilliant in designing and delivering the product. And we believe Boomerang 2.0 is not going to be less than a quality product.
Because it's not by accident that things are laid out, just like as they have with a Zoom, that you can actually do something. So first of all, with the user interface, you have to be able to communicate with me who has no computer savvy at all, right?
Exactly.
And then when I click on that, it's going to go ahead and do something. Carl, what does it look like behind that user interface? When I click on something, what is happening?
Well, particularly in Windows environment, everything is written in GUI, graphical user interface. That's a principle that Microsoft developed out of Windows 3 and has continued all the way through. And there is a massive set of documentation for GUI development. And the whole mantra is based on look and feel. Every Windows application, and consequently adopted by Apple as well, everything is standardized, and that way you only need to learn one thing, and that one thing will be applied everywhere, right? So when you click on something, it's an event. It's a trigger for something to happen. And in the case of our COD 20 dApp, you go to the menu, you click on an item, that will trigger an event, and the same sort of action will occur in any dApp. Right, but in our case, it'll be similar to the designers and the coders of all of these software that we use. Their mentality will be consistent. So when you learn something or you do something in one dApp, the same sort of process will occur in the background, and you won't get unexpected events happening. It's really hard to explain if you're not actually a coder in object-orientated programming and event-driven programming. But essentially, it's all look and feel. So you learn it once, like Control-C is copy everywhere. That's just one example. And there's thousands of all these rules that Windows makes people do.
So you've all gathered, all you coders and developers, you've all gathered together and agreed on some sort of standardization. Say, for instance, with this Zoom, you have the audio on your left-hand side, you have video right next to it. And so there's standardization, like you say, Control-C, Control-V is paste, and all of those things. So with that, Chavez has definitely designed, and Trashid is saying here that the look and feel of Boomerang 2.0 is going to be a dream. It's going to be
Yes.
something that we can be able to be very proud of in its interaction.
What I'm trying to say is, Grace, like all our products have been made pretty simple. Like, you just need to click 2 buttons and your miners will be mining BTCC for lifetime. If you see Dodo, you're buying not just one asset, you're buying multiple assets just at a single click. So I believe Boomerang is also going to be, Boomerang 2.0 is also going to be a very exceptional product.
So with at this juncture, can I ask if people have questions based on the update that Chavez provided yesterday, and looking and peeking into the future, what can we tickle out of Trashid?
I can only say that let's wait until tomorrow. It's only 24 hours away.
That sounds like forever. And in crypto world, that's like forever.
Yes.
But folks, who has questions right now as far as some of the things that were spoken about yesterday as far as the update? That's what we want to be able to go ahead and kind of unpack as far with what was the update that was given yesterday. Questions, but here, because this is the Q&A, questions about anything, please go ahead as far as the topic is concerned. Here we can accept any of the topics under products. So Derek Coppin, you have a question. I believe that you can go ahead and share your video. All righty, let's go ahead and make sure that we can have the video started. And so Derek, share your video and let's get him unmuted so that he can ask his questions.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Derek, we can hear you.
Yes. Quick question, Grace. Not going to take a long time. I was told, Grace, that your card KYC is working in the US. I'm in the US, so I've been waiting for the KYC to work. Is it true? Is it working with you?
Well, what I was able to do, I was able to download it and update. And then I was able to see USA. I was able to get my my one-time passcode, and I was able to do start and establish a code for me to access it. That's as far as I went. I have not been able to KYC. Chavez said, hey, wait for me, and then he's going to let me know when I can KYC in the US, and that will be able to go ahead and get the card going. So I have not KYC'd.
Okay. So I guess the person was mistaken. So I'm able to do that too. I can download the video updates, but I cannot KYC. So I was wondering, am I the only person that is not able to KYC at the moment?
Oh, well, we put you in the North Pole, Derek. That's it.
Yes.
We put you on the North Pole, and we'll go ahead and thaw the North Pole and let you join the rest of the world one of these days.
Yeah. So when the KYC,
You're not the only
when the KYC is available, I guess we'll see it working. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Derek. Thank you. Fraser and Mina, how are you? I hope I'm saying that correctly. Okay, let's go ahead and get you guys unmuted, and you can ask your question.
Lena's not here, but Axel's with me.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I think Carl knows about this. I think Axel spoke to him yesterday. I tried to transfer, was it in?
The proof of reserve.
Proof of reserve back in January or December, and they actually transferred it to a different wallet than I'd requested. So I've been told I need to show what it is. I just need to know where to go.
Carl, this has been brought to your attention by, are you Fraser?
I'm Fraser, yeah.
Right, and because that's Axel next to you, right?
Yeah, that's Axel, yeah.
The other half of, is it Linda?
Lena, she's somewhere else.
Okay, not a problem. Carl? You've been working with
Yeah,
them?
I asked them to bring that here so we can do a breakout and share screen. Because I really need to see all the steps, unless the other guys want to see it as well. I just need to know that they genuinely did everything correct, but when it was transferred, somebody plugged in the wrong address and where it went. So
we'd be able to
We
go
have-
ahead and do that, Rashid. Give him a breakout room. Once he figures it out with, with as far as that privacy, then he can come back and share with the rest of the group.
Yes, we can. Noni, I'll request you to create a breakout room.
Will do.
Okay. And let's go ahead and get Fraser and Axel there signed in with Carl, and you guys figure it out and come back and tell us what has happened.
Thank
I
you.
hope great. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Fraser. And now we have Janelle Winfield. Let's get you unmuted, Janelle. And thank you for being here.
Thank you. I have a very easy, short question.
Oh,
I am purchase a card and you activate it. How long does it take before the physical card comes?
hey, Sheba Joe, why don't you take that question?
Hi, Janelle. I would say under normal circumstances, you're probably looking at around about 4 to 6 weeks, I would say. At the moment, because we've just launched, what Chavez has said is he will wait until there's a significant amount of KYC's done, and that we've got a good amount of people, because obviously it's quite expensive to ship out the card. So he's not going to ship out just a few hundred. He needs to be able to ship out thousands at once to obviously make that cost effective. So for now, I would say it's open-ended. You're probably looking at least a couple of months, I would guess.
Because
But
that,
once we're up and running, properly up and running, I would think you're probably looking about 4 to 6 weeks.
okay, but that's one of the questions. People are sort of waiting to go do that because they don't know how long it's going to take for the card, and they keep asking me, and I'm going, I will ask, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be much longer than that. It's hard to know for sure, though.
Well, thank you, much appreciated.
Okay.
And I would like to add to that channel. Chavez will clearly mention when the dispatch will start and from which countries. I believe US is going to be the first country with US. The dispatch will start, and we will also have an option to add the billing address. That will be the address where card will eventually be disbursed. So it will be announced. It's not yet enabled. Some things need to be figured out. The logistics needs to be set for different countries, and gradually for different countries, it will open at different time interval,
Well,
and it all will be announced as we are processing.
okay, thank you.
I can tell you that when I had crypto.com a few years ago and I ordered the crypto.com card, I can tell you it took about 4 months for it to arrive. And I knew people who'd been waiting 6 months for it and it still hadn't arrived. So I think ours will be somewhat more efficient.
Okay. Now, if you don't have questions, I'm going to start picking on people to ask questions, because I know there's a lot of you that have wonderful questions that's important to yourself and your downline and your community. And so the wonderful thing about it is that, remember, if you are going to ask a question for your downline or your upline, make sure that you invite them to the Zoom so that they will be enriched by the answers that you receive. Alexander, it is so good to see you. Please go ahead and get unmuted so that we can hear your question. Alexander, have you received the invitation to unmute yourself?
Looks like it might be frozen.
Alexander, go ahead and unmute yourself. Yep. Alexander, they may have been having some internet issues. Do you want to go ahead and then leave and rejoin? Make sure to go ahead and get your questions answered as soon as you rejoin, okay? Because it seems, okay, very good.
Excuse me.
There you are. I just heard you,
Technical
but I don't
problem.
see you anymore. Please raise your hand again.
Well,
Raise your virtual hand.
technical problems. Excuse me.
Okay.
Well, once more. An application doesn't respond. Excuse me.
Okay.
Excuse me.
We can hear you, Alexander. Alexander, do you want to ask your question? We can hear you. Okay, I believe he left. No, he's still here. Okay, Alexander, you muted yourself again. Can you unmute yourself? There you are. All righty. Okay, there you go.
Excuse me very much.
Good.
Excuse me. My greetings from Eastern Europe. The question might concerns so-called BTC20 smart chain, the nodes. May I ask about the nodes? And namely, I'm addressing it to Mr. Trashid. The question concerns the rewards for the nodes. It's known that it equals to, it can be measured 182% APY. The rewards equal, yeah. But lately, Mr. Trashid told us that the reward for instance, master node may be measured by 54 BTCC a month.
Yes.
It's not that two figures are not the same.
It depends on the, whenever the node rewards are fixed, the value of BTCC is considered. Okay, like for 27,000, the value of BTCC was fixed to 75, I believe. And based on that, if we do the calculation, in $27,000, we were getting 54,000 back then. And the price of BTCC was something around 60, 65. But for the node calculation, it was fixed to 75. Then the value now has increased to, like, right now we see the BTCC value in range of 150, 155, 157, right? So now for nodes, 150 has been fixed. And if you do the calculation, now it will be $54,000 value for the price of node, and the rewards will be 54. And as the value will keep on increasing, the market value of BTCC, nodes will be getting expensive.
Mr. Trashid, but as to me, 182% are also a very huge number in comparison to the gains one get from in other networks, at least an order of magnitude higher. For instance, in Ethereum network, it equals about 6-7% a year, but we have 182%. So the question is, where does those money come from?
The node money, the node rewards are from the supply, and it's in BTCC.
Not from our.
You do not receive in USDT, you receive in BTCC, and BTCC is a fundamental coin of our blockchain.
But sometimes they will be exchanged on somewhere. BTC for instance, to USDT TRC20. Sometime.
No, it is not available right now on any exchange.
Yeah, but you tell that it's forever for 140 years.
After halving, when the supply will reduce, this number will also reduce. It will be halved. But we will be constantly receiving BTCC depending on the supply.
And in this respect,
I'm sorry?
Well,
Alexander, we're not hearing you anymore.
I'd like to get. Excuse me.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and unmute yourself, please. Okay. Oops. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I read at the site of BTC or BitcoinCode technology. The next. Just let me quote one sentence. To participate as a validator, a user must deposit 1,000 BTCC into the deposit contract. Are we doing that?
Validators are no longer available. They were initially available, but later on, they were never in any subscription. Only nodes are available. Even nodes for, like, we have our annual maintenance going on. So even nodes subscriptions are on hold right now.
Thank you. Thank you for your.
Yes. And let me show you this. Let me show everybody. Let's get clarity on this. These calls are important. So remember this. We speak of 182% APY. On node subscription. Right. So the master node is of $54,000, right? So if we do 54,000 into 182%, So that's 98,280 in dollars. All right. Now, this APY is always fixed on a certain value of BTCC that is considered, right? So when we had $27,000 for the node subscription, the value of BTCC was fixed to 75. Now for $54,000, the value of the nodal rewards has been fixed to 150. Okay, so if we divide this by 150, so sorry, 150 would be 655. Okay, divided by 150. So this is six. So this is in dollars. This is the APY is in dollars, and the same value in BTCC, it's 655 annually. This is annual value, right? 182% annually. So if we divide this by 12, you get 54.46 per month. This is how it is calculated. So like we had when the BTCC price was 75, around 75, for $27,000 node subscription, we used to get 54 BTCC per month. Right now, when you check on the dashboard, the value of BTCC right now it's trending at 150. So now we have same BTCC every month, but the value of package has increased. In a similar manner, if the value of BTCC goes to maybe 300, we will again have a increased value, and this would be $108,000. You will receive the same rewards, but the value of BTCC increases. So imagine for all the people who had purchased node subscription at $27,000, and right now BTCC is at $150. Maybe after 6 months or a year, maybe a couple of years, it will be 300. Now this will continue as long as the blockchain will remain active. But this is based on the supply. So right now, before the first halving, the supply is 50 BTCC every 10 minutes. So everybody is having for nodes 54 BTCC, irrespective of the value of subscription. Everybody is having 54 BTCC every month. If after the first halving, after the first halving, this supply will reduce. It will be 25 BTCC per 10 minutes, and so will be the nodal rewards. They will also reduce. So this would be like 27 BTCC every month. But by then, the value of BTCC would have increased to maybe 500 or between $500 to $1,000. This is how the nodes calculation is done.
Thanks a lot for your clarification on this point.
Alex, great question. Thank you so much.
And
Ian.
there's one more thing I would like to add.
Okay.
This is a special request to everybody. Please make sure that you claim, you grab, you by any means get as many BTCC as possible, because this 4 years before the first halving, not even 4 years are left, almost 2.5 years is left. It is very important for us to claim from the supply. You will not get this supply ever again. Day by day, as number of miners they are being added to the daily claims, everybody is receiving lesser and lesser. Nodes, they are one of the best you can have for any blockchain, not just BTC20. So everybody, like Chavez says, everybody should have a part of nodes. That way you will be always getting BTCC from the supply. All right, thank you, Grace, and thank you, Alexander, for that question.
That was excellent and really excellent advice. I remember when Chavez said, "Listen, just continue to buy Bitcoin," and I said, "Oh, okay." So that's very solid. That's very direct, folks. BTCC, it is the Bitcoin in the 20,000s. So, Ian, why not share your video, and then please go ahead and unmute. There you are.
Good question, Alexander, and great response and discussion, Rashid. Especially the last part that you were talking about, where you were saying, with the nodes, after you purchase a node, you're in profit, and depending on how the price moves in 4 to 5 months, you're in profit in terms of the BTCC. that you're yielding. Alec, I just wanted to add this, Alexander. My ears lit up when you said, well, on Ethereum, you're getting a 6% yield. Well, this is what happens as things become more mainstream and traditional, right? Most of the great benefits typically happen in the early stages of a project, of a business. So if you look at Bitcoin, you had the people that understood the white paper, understood the mechanics of Bitcoin early on, and they were excited about it, right? It was less than a penny, right? When people were starting to mine and they were accumulating large amounts of it. But they believed in it before there was utility value in the market, and they benefited greatly because they either understood it, or they just believed in it, or they trusted someone and they either bought it or mined it, right? So we're in that situation with the nodes where we're at the early stages of this blockchain where there is a lot of benefit to be had, right? Granted that it's all works and continues and is successful. Now, Bitcoin code is a hybrid of the principles of Bitcoin and the principles of Ethereum, right? So it's not, Ethereum moved from proof of work over to proof of stake. They changed the whole model, and they're different. They're both different animals, right? And hopefully that kind of helps you understand. Yeah, it is very high, and it's uncommon. And when people see high returns like that, they're often skeptical. But if you were an investor in Home Depot, Amazon, Tesla, in the early days, Apple, you would have also seen these high returns because you took the risk of getting involved in the early stages. With Capital 3.0, right? We're seeing the potential opportunity for great rewards. So these are opportunities that are not usually readily available to the average person, but they happen over and over again where, especially in the crypto industry, where you can see gains that you'll never see in TradFi, right? Most people will never see those kind of gains unless a company, the founder of a company, a developer, or you have the kind of money where you get a seat at the table to be an early investor, right? That does not happen for the average person. But we're in the early stages of all this. I imagine there'll come a time when the amount of nodes necessary to operate the blockchain, it'll reach a saturation point, and there won't be nodes offered either at all or frequently.
Yeah.
So
those are great observations. Thank you so much. Trashit, do you think that we will reach a saturation point, or
no, nobody knows. Nobody knows. I'm just
Okay.
throwing out a hypothetical, theoretical situation based on how other blockchains run.
Uh-huh. So, did you have a question?
No, I was just commenting on that discussion, and it's a really good question he asked, because if you look out, it's hard for people to believe when they compare against something. But if you don't understand what took place in the early days of Ethereum and the evolution of Ethereum had many, many challenges and disasters early on, right? Bitcoin had challenges, but the people who understood what they were looking at and participated, it was life-changing for them. So we don't need Bitcoin code to become Bitcoin, and nothing. In my view, I don't think anything will ever become Bitcoin, right? But we don't need it to, because the opportunity to be even a player in the industry is so huge, and the amount of gains that we could be seeing could be incredible. So anyway, I liked your question, and I just wanted to add some, a bit of history and context. And yeah, it is very hard to believe in 182% profit, 240% annual yield. But this happens in the industry over and over again. And we're just fortunate to be involved, I think. So that's it.
Good point, Ian. Thank you so much. You sure you didn't have a question?
I do not have a question.
Okay.
Thanks, Ian. Thank you.
Just to piggyback on that, Grace.
iPhone.
Sorry, just to piggyback on that, Grace.
Sure.
I think we've got, I don't know whether there'll ever become a time where there could be a saturation of nodes, but there's a long way to go before that happens. In the Bitcoin network, there's around 100,000 nodes, and we've only got maybe 1,000 nodes active on our blockchain at the moment. So there's a long way to go before we reach saturation on our blockchain for sure.
Thank you,
And
Joe.
we
Thank you, Joe.
completely trust Chavez. He is one of the smartest guy. So just how do you call it? Follow the leader.
Yeah.
And let's take the question from iPhone and then get Carl back in here to tell us what he's discovered. I'm going to add him on there. But iPhone
Hi,
10.
Grace.
Hey,
Hi, Grace. My name is actually Fidel. Something wrong with my Zoom, and then I just download now, so I didn't put my name. But my name is Fidel. I don't know if you can take my question related to my asset for the USDT, and I swap it to RAP BTC. And right on my eyes, it's actually I have like 11 grand are missing at the same day. Is this something that you can help me out? Trust it?
oh, let's see, Joe. You
Can I?
want to go
Yes,
ahead
if I
and
can.
get clarification
Fidel,
on that?
we've already had that conversation. I've explained because I did speak to Chavez, or I spoke to Lucky, and Lucky asked Chavez about that. And it is a pricing error on the DEX. When you do the swap, you should get the correct amount according to the value on the open exchanges. But the pricing error that you see is just a pricing error. It's just a display. I don't know if it's been fixed now because it was a few weeks ago that we spoke last. But
Yes, I actually sent a support ticket at the same day when I have that issue on February 24th. So we have actually back and forth with the support ticket. They said, we're gonna help you out and resolve your issue, but it's been like almost 1 month, but still my issue was
yeah, the issue is that it's a pricing error. So that obviously that glitch needs to be fixed on the DEX. But if you do the swap, you'll get the correct amount. That's what was relayed back to me. If you did the swap, you would get the correct amount according to the open market prices. The price that's displayed on the DEX is an incorrect pricing display. That's all.
Hey, Joe and Fidel, do you want to get in the room and take a look at that and figure that out?
We've already had a look. It's a pricing error. It's I've already looked at it.
Has it been fixed, Fidel?
not yet.
Okay, so I'll refer back and let them know that pricing error needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
I will do a test myself later. Message me on Telegram. I'll do a test later and see what swap I get. But I've been told that the swap will go through according to market price, not what's displayed. So you haven't lost anything. It's just a display error.
I was surprised because the total balance that I trade is 112,000 USDT.
Yes.
And then
did you do the swap, Fidel? Did you do the swap?
I cannot do the swap right now because
you didn't do the swap.
price went up.
It's just a pricing display error. If you do the swap, it will be done according to the correct market price. It's just a display error.
So, Fidel, do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand, but my question a little bit is, why is it that at the same day, the 11 grand was disappeared right at the moment on my eyes when I refresh my browser?
It hasn't disappeared. It's just showing the wrong price.
And the thing about it, Fidel, that happened at point in the back. Is there any way that can be replicated so that you can show anybody how it disappeared?
Yes,
it hasn't disappeared because the quantity of wrapped Bitcoin that you have has not changed. So you've still got the correct amount of wrapped Bitcoin. All that's happened is that when you put it into the DEX, it displays at the wrong value. So nothing has been lost. It's no different than if you were holding Bitcoin on Binance. Today it shows $82,000. Tomorrow it shows $75,000. And it looks like you've lost money, but you haven't. You've got the same amount of Bitcoin, but it's just worth less. But on the DEX, it is displaying the wrong value. It's displaying the wrong value. But your value, the quantity of Bitcoin that you have is exactly the same.
I believe Joe is used to be my original wrap BTC with 1.4, but right now it's 1.10.
What do you mean 1.10?
Can I show my screen so maybe we're on the same page, or is that possible?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's have a look at it. If that's all right with everybody else, might as well have a look.
And I have also all the separate for transaction for the block. So you see this one on my screen. It's right now.
You're not sharing screen at the moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me share my screen real quick. Share screen, share. Okay. Screen.
this is not a widespread issue, is it, Joe?
Well, the fact that the DEX is showing a price, incorrect price, yes, that'll be for everybody. But
Okay,
you're not losing anything. It's just showing that you've got less value, not less Bitcoin.
Do you see now my screen by any chance, Joe?
Yes,
Yes.
yep. Says wrapped Bitcoin 1.10.
Yeah, used to be, I believe this is 1.4, but why is it become 1.10?
Okay, that I can't answer. I don't know how you've grown wrapped Bitcoin unless you're. No, I don't know how you've got more Bitcoin.
Because the 112,000 when I swap it separately before, I believe this wrap BTC is 1.4, but when that 11 grand, this amount will also decrease.
Not if it's a value change. I mean, if you've done the swap, the quantity of wrapped Bitcoin that you've got won't change. I don't know why you've gone from 1.4 to 1.10. The only way that can happen is if you've swapped. It looks like Eunice has got something that he's seen something that might help.
Hi, Fidel. How are you?
Ah, Eunice, yes, doing okay.
Okay. If I'm understanding correctly, you swap USDT to wrap Bitcoin. Am I correct or not?
Correct, yes.
And then you swap 110,000 USDT in order to get the equivalent on wrap Bitcoin. Is okay? Is that
Yes,
that's going to happen? Okay. When you did that, you're talking about 1.4 and 1.10 and 1.4. Actually, it's 1.40 or 1.10.
Yeah,
Am I
1.4. Yes,
correct?
yes, yes, correct. I'm sorry for that.
1.40. Okay. What is happening when you swapped the Bitcoin? You expecting to have 1.40 wrap Bitcoin, but you get 1.10 wrap Bitcoin.
Yes.
Is that okay?
That's my assumption because the 11 grand was disappeared, so that's why the wrap Bitcoin also went down.
Yeah, but 0.0, okay, 0.30 Bitcoin is more than 11. Is more than 11 grand. Yes or no, Trashi? You know, if it's a Bitcoin is almost 90,000, 30% is like $28,000 on Bitcoin and wrap Bitcoin. Yes or not?
So when we swap, there is a price impact as well. Some value gets reduced as well.
That's one of the things I want to say.
Yes.
There's a price impact. That's one of the things. And the second thing is they're working on it. I just to let you know that. Because in order to the price be matching the other DEXs or the market price, is two ways to do it. One is because our DEX is open for arbitrage, and then people buy and sell, and the price is be corrected only because through the arbitrage. That's one of the things. That doesn't happen right now. And the second way to do it is through oracles. You included oracles into the blockchain that verifying the price through the net, and then these oracles through consensus say this is the price of Bitcoin, and that's the reason why we do that. It's not like a Chavez doing something wrong for us. It's because our DEX is not open to arbitrage, and because it's not open to arbitrage, the way that the DEX put the price is through a protocol called AMM, Automatic Market Maker. If we went into dynamic market maker, that's another thing because we went through arbitrage, but right now is through automatic market maker. And the only way to put the price is because the community buy and sell, the community, not the whole world or the whole crypto enthusiasts or the whole traders. And my suggestion is the following suggestion: only if you believe the price in our DEX is lower than the regular price outside, that's the only way to me to do a transaction. And even if you do a transaction, a big transaction like this, you need to pay attention of the leakage on the price impact, because these kind of things that can impact the quantity of BTCC, wrap BTCC wrap Bitcoin that you will have the moment you do a swap. My advice is to wait until the update will be done. I don't know, and I didn't ask Chavez if we put some oracles into the blockchain in order to rectify that. But my suggestion is to wait until that one, and don't play if you don't. If you see the price doesn't match, or you don't have the what you see outside is not matching inside, don't perform the trading. That's it. You know, keep
Yes.
your assets.
But
You know,
it
but
will
now,
never,
yeah,
Eunice,
but
it will never match, because price impact will always be there. Liquidity provider fees will always be there. It
Yeah.
will never ever match, and you will always receive less when you will buy, and you will always receive
Yeah.
more will be deducted when you sell.
And in this particular case, when he went to swap, it was showing the value of his wrapped Bitcoin at $12,000 less than it was on the market. So it was a
exactly. I won't do
significant
that. I won't
difference.
do that. I won't do
Yeah.
the trade. I just keep it and say,
Fix it, of
waiting
course.
until, you know, if they did it, you know, it's not way. This is my humble, how to say that?
Opinion.
Opinion is done. You know, the moment you did it, thank you very much. You know, you contribute to the liquidity of the pool now with $11,000. You know,
Yes.
but it's nothing to do that. You know, if you do send a message to support to ask them to give you the $11,000, forget it. That won't happen. That's my humble opinion. That's the reason why you need to always double check any transaction to see if it's convenient for you or not.
Yes, I
Thank you,
always
guys.
do that. Check. I
Yeah.
always do that.
Yeah,
Actually.
but
And I
do
believe
things.
Fidel would have done in a single transaction. The
I've
entire
done actually for transaction. It is 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, and 30,000.
so if you
Still a big transaction.
yes,
And the
that's what I
price
was
impact
going
will
with.
be, you know, in a small, closed environment. DEX is a very big price impact on that one.
Eunice, let me share this and let everybody.
Go ahead.
Let's teach this. It is important.
Thank
So
you.
right now on the dashboard, if you see, of course, BTCC is not available on any exchanges, right? But we have our own internal liquidity, because of which we see this 155.716. Okay. But when you come to DEX, when you go to swap and you try to swap this, so like this account has 4 BTCC, right? And if you do this, you know, so it's a very less number. So the price impact is also very less. You have this price impact over here. It's less than 0.01. And we are still having 155.712. Now let's say we change this to 40 instead of 4. Okay, I'm not having, let me change the account. So now that we have changed 4 to 40, see the value is 155.66 and the price impact is 0.03%. And if I do this to 400, see now the price impact is 0.33 and the value considered is 155.209. So our suggestion would be do small transactions where the price impact is very less. And always, like Eunice mentioned, always compare the value, especially when we are dealing with some assets which are like WBTC. It is open, it is available in the outside community, outside BTC ecosystem as well. So always be careful. And you know, it is not just going to be WBTC. There are going to be more coins that will be added to the liquidity to our ecosystem. So always when we do swaps, always remember to be very careful.
Careful, and in particularly looking at what Tashi, at going ahead and doing as far as the small batches, or careful in looking at what?
Both looking at the value outside the systems, like
and Tashi, sorry, I wanted to say something.
Yes.
The reason why, when you put the amount, you know, bigger amount in BitcoinCode, and you see only a price impact less than 1 digit, and the reason why is because the pool, the BTCC pool and USDT pool is a big pool. It's a big in compared with the other pool. If you see raw Bitcoin with USDT, you would see it's less than a half of what we have on BTCC and USDT, meaning any transaction will have a greater impact on the price. You can see it anyway. You can go into the swap and you see the size of the pool is the half the raw Bitcoin on compared to BTCC.
Tracy, would you be able to go ahead and kind of wrap this up as far as a kind of a summary, so that majority of folks are listening are understanding exactly what the question was and the concern and what the solution is?
So there are 2 kinds of liquidity that we have, like right now on our systems: USDT, BTCC, and WBTC as well. WBTC is wrapped Bitcoin or bridged Bitcoin, and its value on our chain and in the outside systems, it's same, one in the same. Okay, so if we are dealing with this kind of assets and we are swapping or we are using bridge our own DEX, so we must be careful, first of all, in comparing what's the price value outside our systems and the same asset in our system, in our own ecosystem. It should be relevant. Apart from this, just make sure there is price impact. Chavez has mentioned price impact on Dodo as well. So price impact is the difference of the actual market value and when you do the trade or when you do the swap, that value. Price impact influences the returns or the transactions when you swap from one asset to other. So price impact increases because that's how liquidity is managed on DEXs. So bigger the lot, less you receive, so that the liquidity is adjusted. So price impact is more when you swap bigger volumes, right? So just follow this simple things. All right.
Thank you. Ian, go ahead.
Yeah, lots of interesting discussions today. So I just wanted to say that this is true just in the general open crypto market, right? A good guide or rule of thumb is if you're going to do a large transaction on this in the spot market, you want to keep it below 10,000. Felix, it's not Felix, it is Fidel. Sorry, Fidel. I don't know if you're familiar with OTCs, right? So when BlackRock, Michael Saylor, these big whales, when they buy a token or an asset, right, they're doing it over the counter. It's not in the spot market. So they could be buying hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin, but it's not in the open market, the sale transaction. So it's not affecting the price. It's not raising gas fees. So in order to not increase your own price by buying a lot, because people are front running your big buy. This is what Chavez was talking about yesterday, that there's technology that's moving at lightning speed, faster than your transaction can execute, and they're affecting the price of what your transaction is going to cost you. So just as a general, Grace asked for a summary, as a general guide, do 5,000 increments and wait some time in between. Don't go above 10,000 because people are going to take advantage of you while you're making those moves. So I know it's a little bit more deep into the woods, but just think, just as a guide, keep it between $5,000 and $9,000 transactions when you're transacting large amounts, because we typically don't fall into the qualification to be able to go to an OTC desk where all of this is invisible to the open market and to these bots and these whales and all of that kind of stuff. So good stuff today, guys. Good stuff.
Thank you, Ian. Appreciate your contribution there. All righty. Some other questions or comments, but before we get to those, I know you guys are anxious, and just go ahead and raise your virtual hand. Carl, you came back from working with Faisal. What happened?
It simply appears to be that when the transaction was initiated at the office, some wrong address might have been pasted. So I'm just going to put together an explanation and send it to Nicholas. Just appears to have gone to the wrong address, as he said.
Okay. Alrighty. So basically, what is the moral of that? What's the advice, or in general, for the community here?
Yes, check everything worked properly, basically, is the moral.
Okay.
And if you've got questions, if you don't think it worked, raise it.
Okay. But be careful as far as when you're posting addresses or working with addresses.
Well, yeah, everyone should always be doing that, but it wasn't his error. It looks like it's an office error.
Okay. Alrighty. But always be attentive. Okay. Any other questions? Trashid. Oh, Fidel, you have a question? Please go ahead and unmute.
So I don't have to touch anything from my asset there. I just have to leave it as it is. Am I going to just leave it as it is for now because there's a price impact?
Why do you want to change it, Fidel? Just leave it as wrapped Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin will go up again, and you can do those swaps at a later stage.
Yes, okay, I'll do that then.
Yeah, leave it as it is for now.
Yeah, thank you.
And next
Just
time
on all of that.
Yes, Carl.
just on all of that discussion, to pull it all into perspective, there's 3 ways you can trade crypto: peer-to-peer, centralized exchange, decentralized exchange. And we only have we technically have 2. Fidel, you could have done a peer-to-peer with somebody if you knew somebody that had the right amount of wrapped Bitcoin and you wanted to swap it for a right amount of USDT. You could have done a peer-to-peer and got the exact value. You chose to do it on a DEX through a swap pool, right? Everything on a DEX works through swap pools. So when you went through the pool, you had both the price impact and swapping fees, and that's where your money went, in those costs. If you'd done it on a centralized exchange, look, we don't have that, but if you had done it, you would have paid a transaction fee. It would have been a different price structure. All those 3 things, as people have pointed out, have all different effects on trading in crypto. You've just experienced the one. It is what it is, basically.
And when you're saying DEX, you mean the centralized exchange, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. We get to using acronyms and things of that nature. I lived in an acronym world for a very long time, and then we forget what the acronym means. We just understand it when we hear it, but we forget exactly what it spells out to be. But thank you so much for that wrap up. Now, the thing is, people have asked really, really intriguing questions here. Let's go through. I think that we may be close to that hour and a half already, aren't we? There, Trashi?
Yes.
Close
If
to
there are
kind
no
of
questions,
wrapping
so
this
we
up,
will conclude.
sir.
If there are no questions, then we will conclude.
Okay, I just want last words. Okay, go ahead, Carl. Any last words or comments to share with the community?
Only something that I've said in the past, but I'll update it a little bit, and it kind of comes into what we just discussed about checking. Whenever you do a transaction, I always say to people, make sure you check the 3, but I'm going to add a 4th in now. Address, chain, token, platform. Right? Now that we've got the ability to move into the card or into Dodo through the smart accounts scenario, which is kind of like a different platform, all of those have to line up to be sure that your transaction works properly. If one of them's wrong, sometimes it doesn't matter, particularly if it's an EVM and compliant address. You might send something on breakout rooms. Why did a breakout room just start?
It's okay, we got it.
Yeah. If 2 of them are wrong, almost certainly you're going to lose your money. All right. So just concentrate every time you do a transaction, no matter how experienced you are, but check all 4 of those things every single transaction.
And what was the 4 things again, Carl?
Address, chain, token, platform.
Thank you so much.
When you add platform, if you're sending to a platform, make sure that they actually support that token or support that network, etc. That's what that means. Because some platforms do multiple chains, some only do 1 or 2 chains.
All right. Thank you so much. Shiba Joe?
Yes, I think I'll close it in the same way, that talking about the same subject that we opened with. I don't know if you remember, some time ago now, Grace, on one of our Zooms, I showed a picture of something my daughter painted when she was very young. And it said, "Don't look back. You're not going that way." You may remember that picture.
Yes.
I think now is the time, following Chavez's Zoom last night, where he's explained that journey that we took for 8 months. It's time to stop looking back, and it's time to move forwards. We are in an incredible company led by an incredible person who, for almost 2 years now, has suffered the call to duty from the community, and had to face the community in a moment when something that he was so excited about didn't work, and he did it. He stood there. 2 times now would have been a good reason for him to go. He could have walked away at the beginning and his hands would have been clean. He chose to stay. Boomerang didn't work. It's a great, great shame. He could have run away then. He chose to stay because he chooses the right thing to do. So he has stood by us for 2 years now, almost 2 years. We in the leadership will undoubtedly stand by his side for however long this journey continues. But it is time to stop looking back because none of us are going that way.
Thank you, Shiva Joe. Trashi?
Well, everything has been, the technical side has been covered by Carl, and the emotional or the sentimental side has been covered by Joe. I would only say, wait until tomorrow. Boomerang 2.0, it's going to be a fantastic product. We all believe, although no one has seen. But, this is an incredible journey that we are all together. And this is one of the rarest opportunity everybody is looking for. And now, finally, when people have it, not many are able to realize that. And it always happens. People then miss opportunities and then they only regret or they complain, either of the things. With Chavez, we have such an incredible leader, someone whom we can rely in terms of technology. I mean, we have a story of Noah's Ark, right?
Okay, my friend, you look a
So
little frozen.
maybe,
Are you guys all frozen and it's just me?
No, it's just you that's frozen.
Just you.
so I can say that he is one who is helping us float ashore. So if we see him as a person, as a person in charge, he is amazing. He is one of the most credible person to have right now in this crypto and blockchain space. And if you look at the opportunities in terms of BTCC, in terms of liquid pay, in terms of Boomerang 2.0, everything what is being delivered, it's a rarest of the rare opportunity, and cash it before it's too late to realize. That will be all, Grace. Thank you.
Hey, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for that wrap up. Because one of the things about this particular platform that is unique and very precious is the amount of training and education and one-on-one interchange and exchange. So that's what's incredible and very unique about this. So you have been here on Thursdays is Q&A. Please bring your questions so that they can be answered, because you do have questions. We know it. It's best if you write it down so you won't be shy in asking it, okay? And now, let me just remind you, you have been reminded, tomorrow is Chavez is going to be training on the Boomerang 2.0. I remember he says the name will change, but we have just been calling it Boomerang 2.0 now until he reveals it as what it is going to be. So tomorrow, come early, come ready with notebook and pen. Then after that,
it's gonna be houseful, Grace.
It's gonna be houseful. Okay, just save me a space, Tracy.
What?
Just save me a seat right next to you. We're good. Okay. So then
Please. Yeah.
On Saturday, it's going to be Eunice is going to train us on back office, WAAS back office, and is going to also talk about Dodo, one of his favorite new pets. Okay, birds. I think he's going to rename it the Bird of Mexico. I think. Okay, I think he's got a petition going on. Okay, that Dodo will become the new Bird of Mexico. But he's expert on that. So please tune in 3 p.m. UK prime time. That's 4 hours earlier than the 7 p.m. UK prime time, whereby Trashit is going to perform outstandingly as he provides us masterclass training at 7 p.m. Trashit, do you have a preview of exactly what the topic may be?
I'm waiting for tomorrow's call.
There you go. All righty. So that means that you do have to tune in at on Saturday, 7 p.m. Okay, because Trashit will go ahead and peel back the onion on that. Peel back the onion to get to the core, and so he does that and does that well. Joe, what is your latest video that you have out for training? Oh, you're muted, my friend. Unmute. We don't
Sorry,
need lips. Well.
I put out a couple of videos recently. Last week, I put out a video that I did on a training for Dodo. I'm going to be making another one because I've been playing around with it today and I've got a much better understanding of it. And I think I was probably a little more worried about it than I really needed to be. Okay. So I made a little profit this morning. So I'll make another video of that. But one that I will remind everybody of that I put out a couple of weeks ago now is how to check if you've got stuck transactions. If you're trying to stake your miner, or if you're trying to send USDT, or if you're trying to perform some kind of transaction on the BTC20 blockchain and it just keeps swirling, then you've probably got stuck transactions. But if you look on my playlist, I've now segregated everything out. So if it's related to Bitcoin code, it's a Bitcoin code playlist. If it's related to MetaMask, it's a MetaMask playlist. And it will show you how to check your blockchain to see if you've got a stuck transaction. And if you've got stuck transactions, come to here on the Thursday night or speak to your upline and upline rank leader to arrange a call to get it cleared.
Joe, if you can move to your left or your right, okay, and bring that QR code forward.
Yeah,
folks, take a picture of that QR code so you can get to his channel and all of that. And Trashid, have you put in the chat the link for the Q&A questions, or what is it, DY?
Yeah, it's already there. It's a DYQ form. People who have any other questions and maybe they are not comfortable asking you, they can put their questions there. So there are two links, one to submit the question and one to find the answers. So it has brought up in the Zoom chat, as well as the evaluation form. It's a quick feedback on the presentations that we are delivering so far.
Okay, fantastic. And also the link to the videos, the official channel, so that they can get this video right after it closes. They can be looking at it practically. So, and all the other videos. Would you be able to kind of talk about that just a little bit to share and see, hey, this is how you get to the videos?
We will do that in the master training, Grace. Let's conclude.
Fantastic. So Saturday, very important. And then, so that housekeeping is taken care of. Ladies and gentlemen, we really appreciate you being here. And especially if you're new, you have really come to where those questions are answered. Carl has his hand up for one last word.
Yeah. When you drop a question in the DYQ, make sure you give clear questions, full details, so it's easier for us to understand what your question actually is. The reason I brought that up, check the 4, is I've noticed a trend, people forgetting the basics. All right, that's just one basic. Just everyone, as our product range gets more complex and more technical, you got to keep remembering the basics, otherwise you won't understand the advanced. And I've noticed with the updates to Liquid Pay at the moment and the updates coming, if you get into a situation where you're not sure what you're doing, stop. Don't do something that's going to make it worse for us to clean up, right? I've noticed that a few people have uninstalled and then reinstalled, and they've lost access to their KYC, and Chavez has got to do some magic in the office, or they've misunderstood using the coupon. If you're concerned, stop, seek help. Don't make the situation worse, okay? That was all. Thanks, Grace.
Excellent, excellent. All righty. And Joe, Shiba Joe, you have one more
Sorry,
thing?
just in line with that, I have made a video that shows you how to use your coupon code to activate your card. So that will help you make sure you don't make a mistake.
Excellent. Okay. Trashid, it's all yours. Back to you.
It's okay, Grace. We can conclude the session. Thank you, everybody, for joining this calls. So like you have seen, last couple of live Q&A sessions, they have been getting very interesting. And this is where all the experts are here to give you a different perspective, share their own experience, their own understanding for all the products. And like Carl mentioned, the things are going to be getting more and more, technical. So it's very important for us all to be a part of this calls. Invite your teams, invite your downline, and it will ease your task as a leader. That will be all. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you all the panelists. Thank you all experts. You are amazing leaders. And let us conclude this. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a great call. Please make sure you join early because it's going to be a house full again. All
right. And if Trashid doesn't save me a seat next to him, then, he's going to really be in trouble. David, thank you for being here. Eunice, it's been fantastic. Thank you for your contributions. Bye, all. Have a great